You're listening to All Things Real Estate on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN. Once again, here's your hosts, Gary Kelley and Brad Avergon.
Welcome back to the second half of All Things Real Estate. I'm Gary Kelley with RE/MAX Executive Realty, and I'm joined by
Brad Avergon with Envision Bank and Mortgage.
So right before the break, I made the comment that what's driving the real estate market right now is life. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is we have people that pass away. They need to sell their house, or their heirs, their personal representative do. We're working with a couple right now where I got a call from a mutual friend who said, Gary, you have to sell this house. Okay. And you go over and she says, Gary, you have to put a mask on. Okay. In this era where we're all, comfortable putting masks on, I walk in and I said, why are we wearing masks? And she says, because the smell of cat urine is so prevalent in this house. And indeed, it was bad. And so the couple has now moved to an assisted living facility. They're happy. And the house, we've cleared the house out, multiple truckloads of stuff, and we're working on the cat smell. But that's a case of helping people. It was not a situation that they were able to help themselves anymore. They needed help from someone else. We also have people where they come up and they say, listen, we recently got married, would like to have a family, but before doing that, would like to own a house. Those are exciting times. We've been there. I want to say we've been there when the baby's born. That's a bit of a stretch. Sue likes to has that maternal thing that comes out. But we've been to client weddings and so forth. And then we do celebrate when they have children and all that. And that's an exciting time. Those things are still happening. And we don't want to lose sight of the fact that even with the pandemic, life goes on. Okay. And so, yeah, we can go over interest rate charts, and Brad, I know that you want to talk about interest rates, and we should. I know that inventory's been a topic, and that's an important topic. At the end of the day, people are still going to pass away. They're going to graduate. They're going to get reloaded for work. There's a variety of things that happen that causes a transition for someone. And Sue and I like to have one of our taglines of many is, we help people with life's transitions. And I think that's an important part of it. Brad, you must see the same thing.
Absolutely, Gary. Absolutely. And it's actually one of the things I enjoy the most about my job is helping people with life's transitions, because, most people aren't born with like real estate mortgage knowledge and all of that. They acquire it over time and they learn from their experiences. But one of the things that happen is as you said, their life changes. So people that get engaged. So a lot of times I'll be dealing with first-time home buyers and they've never owned a home before and they don't even know what to expect. And sometimes they've read something perhaps, but there's a lot of wisdom, so to speak, that I pass down to my clients, because I care about them and I want my clients to have a successful home, a successful financial situation, a successful everything. So they feel really positive about it. There are other times that are not so pleasant. You brought up the case where somebody has to downsize because they moved into an assisted living. I often get involved with folks that are going through divorce, and that's a very, very challenging time for folks. Oftentimes, one party versus the other has been handling the finance, and the party I may be dealing with may have no experience whatsoever and no knowledge of it. So that ability to kind of hold their hand, to walk them through, and to set them up for a financially successful situation, transition into this new chapter of their lives, is super important. And to have, honest conversations. Sometimes the conversations may be, based on the income you're going to be receiving or that you have now, you really can't afford to carry this house. And you're going to be stressed out if you try, or you could lose the house. So let's figure out an exit strategy that's going to buy you time so you're not forced out, and help you transition slowly over time. And oftentimes I'll work with a divorce attorney and talk to them about what do we need for time? What does this person need? And build that into the separation agreement. Other times it's a matter of lowering the monthly payments so that they can stay in the house and that their kids don't have to necessarily transition to another home, another school system. So it just depends on the situation. But again, these are life transitions. They happen no matter what. People get married, people have children, people get divorced, people age out of their homes where they can't be in their homes. Those are things that no matter what the number of houses go on the market or what interest rates do, those are going to happen either way. And I think that's where you and I can come in and help folks transition to those new periods and adjust things.
See, I don't consider myself a divorce expert by any stretch, but I'm divorced. And when you go through a process like that, you know that it's, first of all, not pleasant. And the chances of someone ending up in a better home after divorce is kind of small. The expression "no one gets wealthy in a divorce" at some level is often the case, and we actually end up dealing with a lot of tears of sadness because they are leaving, let's say, an $800,000 house, and they're out looking at $350,000 or $400,000 houses. And that's a realization that their lifestyle is going to change. But at the same time, the whole thing of when they do land and they do start to come out of the process that they've been through, that can be a happy time. And it's good to see that as well.
I think that's so important, Gary. And one of the things that I usually point out when I'm talking with folks that are through divorce, because I often hear a lot of that. There's a lot of emotion tied up in what they're going through. And one of the things I point out, as I say, without getting too deep into their personal lives, say, it sounds like this has been a really difficult time. My guess is it's been going on for a period of time. And they usually say, yeah. And I said, well, here's the good news. That you're moving to a place where good things are going to begin to happen instead of bad things. So you're going to come out, you're kind of coming down the hill right now, and you're going to go into a more positive, a positive place where good things can happen for you, and you're going to have some joy in your life. And I think that that's really, really important, that optimism and ability to kind of put them in a place, as I say, number one, you helping them find a home. Maybe it's not that $450,000 or that $500,000 home. Maybe it's a smaller home, but it's cute. It's in a nice area. It's going to be, or it's a condo and it's going to be manageable, so they don't have to worry about the lawn and the snow removal. That's where you guys can come in. Or maybe it's me saying, you know what, we're going to cut down on your housing payments so that you're comfortable based on the income you receive, and you're going to be able to take a vacation. You're going to be able to spend some, or go out to dinner, whatever it is. We're going to adjust your finances to your new lifestyle, and you're going to adjust their housing accommodations to the new lifestyle, and then they can begin to grow. And I think that's so important.
It is. It is. So, Brad, as you look forward into the near future, and you talk about things like interest rates, where do you see the interest rates going? And we're recording this in mid-October 2021.
Right. So just so folks know, so for the last year and a half to 2 years, the federal government stepped in and has been buying mortgage-backed securities, and that's what's been holding rates at historical lows. The federal government now sees the economy kind of churning up a little bit. They're concerned about inflation, so they're backing off buying those mortgage-backed securities. And as, again, the demand, same thing, supply and demand. As demand drops, prices are going to go up. So rates are going to rise a little bit. They've already ticked up just a little bit, but I think they're going to rise a little bit more. I don't necessarily think they're going to break 4%, but I think they're going to probably get into the mid to high threes, depending on situations. But I don't want really folks to worry about that. I mean, obviously, if they are in a position now where they can buy now and get these lower rates, that's great. But if not, understand that all markets reach equilibrium. So as rates rise, you're going to have adjustments with sale prices, the different things, everything balances out over time. We've been in a market where rates were low, so prices were going through the roof, and people factored that in. I think as we move to this kind of a climate, I think everything is going to be okay, and rates are not going to drastically rise, but they're going to go up a little bit, and I think people should build that into their expectation and prepare for that.
So, Brad, when you bought your first house, what was your interest rate?
I think I had 13%.
Yeah, my first house, I was at 18% with an adjustable rate mortgage that adjusted every year. And thank good Lord, every year it went down. But at the time, we didn't know any better. This is just what we did. So you buy a house and it's 18% interest. I mean, today people would say, oh my God, you can't do that. Well, no one told us that at the time. So we just, went along blissfully unaware.
Right. And I think everything adjusts. And you're right, prices were lower then, so 18% on a lower price, that may have made up some of the difference. But as rates increase, prices will adjust a little bit too. I don't think that prices are going to drop, but I do think we're going to see a little bit more of a flattening of the price increases. So that's a good thing. And there'll be some opportunities there for folks. But most of all, when somebody sits and chats with me about their finances, I'm going to make sure that they're set up hopefully in a financially good situation so that they don't have to worry about where interest rates are going to go after the fact. We're going to set them up even on a pre-approval so they can afford the property.
So Brad, we're coming to the end of our first drive time show, Friday at 1:00. How can someone reach you if they wanted to chat more in depth about mortgages?
Best way to reach me, Gary, is via my cell phone, which is 978-375-5531, or via email at Avergon, that's Bavergon, at envisionbank.com. And Gary, what's the best way to reach you?
I can be reached at 508-733-6005. And I can Gary at movewithgary.com. Well, Brad, thank you for another entertaining show. I hope our listeners have enjoyed it. Kudos to Nick Martinelli, who is a great painter. And we'll talk to you again in about a month, Brad.
Sounds good, Gary. Be well.
You as well.
You've been listening to All Things Real Estate on Full Service Radio, 830 WCRN.